Hey y'all, I wanted to make this video to show you how I used DaVinci Resolve to edit my last video. The programs I used in the past were just Premiere actually. I grew up using Premiere as my intro to editing, and this is the first time I use something other than that to make something. This is so far the longest video I had to make using another program, so yeah, let's get into it. So I edited on DaVinci for like a day, like 2 days. And by this point, I already imported all the hotkeys I used for my Premiere. Pretty much just like matched it up, so it would be a little bit more seamless when I jumped into it. The version I used was DaVinci Resolve 18.1.2. It's not really the latest version, but pretty much just DaVinci Resolve 18. The UI is something that I had to get used to because I'm used to moving windows around in Premiere, but over here you can only like adjust like sizing, which is not my favorite thing. Definitely just did get some getting used to. Another thing that I really liked was all the colors, or all the color options for the clips. I'm someone who likes to organize footage by color, and in this particular one I did it by scene. So this was like in my house, and this was outside at one location, and this was at the second one, and then third, and then fourth, and then fifth. And I also do the same with audio files. So all the green right here, if I scroll up, you'll see that all the green right here is camera audio of me talking, and then all of the audio here is voiceover audio, and all of the audio here is sound effects. This is how I usually organize stuff. The first track would be in camera audio, and then I would just mute it. But in this case, I did not mute it because I was actually talking to the camera. The second one would be any voiceover audio, so still dialogue. And usually when I work with multiple audio sources, like for example, this would be a shotgun mic on camera, and the second one would be the lav audio. Third and fourth, and so on, however many ever, will be sound design. I put music on the very bottom of the timeline because it just clears up all the space for me to put sound design and other dialogue. So earlier I mentioned the windows were kind of weird, and this is what I mean. I can't like drag out these windows and like rearrange them like I would in Premiere, but instead I can only click them here on the top left. So there's that, and then also on the top right. On the top right, this inspector tool is pretty much the effect controls panel in Premiere. So for the color workspace down here, I didn't do too much color grading. Everything I shot was in S-Log3, but honestly, I just slapped on a S-Log3 conversion LUT and did some minor tweaking. So over here, I mainly just played around with the curves and this first circle, this primary color wheels panel. When it was too bright, I usually just used the curves and then just went in the middle and then brought it down. So a good example of this is here. You can see that the curve is way down, and this is how it looked before. So it's a little overexposed. So I just brought this, dragged it down to right about there, and you can see it's a lot better. Other than that, I would like also mess with the highlights here a little bit and do that. Usually when I do work for clients, I just shoot in S-Anytone because the most important thing in those situations would be cutting the video and exporting it and uploading it. I would do color grading for bigger projects or just personal projects. Don't really have a lot of experience with color grading except for converting stuff from S-Log3 to Rec 709 and then just like minorly tweaking stuff. I don't really use like phantom LUTs or anything like that because I don't really see the need for them in my use case, but that might be different for you. Speaking of color grading, this is what I did to essentially just to like convert all the videos from S-Log3 to Rec 709, which is a standard color profile. So I named all of my footage from my Sony camera. All the footage down here is from my iPhone, which I actually swapped in between for filming in certain scenarios. But over here, you can just click everything here, go here, go to LUT, and then I just click this one, SLUT3 to Rec 709. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I'm on the free version of DaVinci, so I'm testing out the waters to see if I like the program or not. What I did like from this was the title sequences. So you go over to effects right here, click that, scroll down, and there's like a bunch of stuff here. One thing I tried to use was jitter. So it's this one down here. So this essentially reveals the word or the title letter by letter, and it has like a little jitter effect if you can look closer. And that's really cool how they have that built in. I wasn't sure if I was able to use it because I am on the free version of DaVinci Resolve, but instead I did this. Oh my god, it's me, Crew. So I did a title sequence like that for all my friends, and then I can show you the rest here. So after meeting up with everyone, we ate at this cafe named Red Maple. You go to effects and then you scroll all the way up, and then it is text, basic title text, and I just chose a font that I really liked. Go to inspector. So over here is my friend's name, Crew, KRU, and then I put a drop shadow, put a little x-axis offset onto it, so it had depth. And then after that, I turned the background on, and then I chose the colors. I just decided to have a little fun with it, and then put everyone's name card as their shirt color. So over here, Nick's is pink, Belle's is blue, and then over here, Lauren's is like white, but I just made it pink, or like a peach. And then Carlos's is right over here. Okay, so after that, I did like a little reveal thing with the keyframe. So what I did was I keyframed crop right, and then I just made it reveal right as soon as she said her name. Oh my god, it's me, Crew. So really simple keyframing thing right there. This is the first project I did using voiceovers and actually talking to the camera. So I decided to use voice memos for recording my voice. I didn't think about this until during the post process, where I felt like I needed a little bit more context for certain areas of the video. I'll just get my phone, voice memo, and then just press record and then talk like this, and airdrop, and then import it into the project. They are all in this folder called voiceover. One issue I noticed specifically working with the Apple voiceover or voice memos was when I imported it, I can only hear out of one ear, or out of one speaker, I mean. I'm gonna show you guys how to combat that specifically in DaVinci. I'm gonna go to the end of the timeline and drag in one of the clips right here. So over here, enjoy some clips of us dining in. I only hear it from my left speaker. The way I combat this was I went to clip attributes, went to audio. Instead of mono, I went to stereo and embed channel 1 on the right side as well. So now both of these are on, and then now when you play it back, you can hear it from both. And enjoy some clips of us dining in. I don't know why it was like that, because you would think that if it recorded in mono, you would be able to hear it in both ears, but I guess there's like something finicky about that. So it also works if you have like multiple clips too. So I'm just gonna drag in like a bunch right now. And all you gotta do is do the same thing, except click and drag across all of them, select all, go to clip attributes, and then do the same exact thing. So these are the things that I disliked while making this project. And these are just like dislikes of the DaVinci Resolve program in general. Definitely keep this in mind when you're trying to use this program for the first time. My process involves working with a lot of variable frame rates. So I work a lot with 24, 60, and 120. And usually when I work on them in Premiere, I have a hotkey, seeing the clip attributes and seeing their frame rate, or map the function to the same hotkey. But when I press clip attributes, it doesn't show the frame rate, which is strange. Every time I needed to see the frame rate to see how much I would need to slow a video down, I had to go back to media pool and then just see it all there. For me, that like slowed down my workflow, but I just got used to it. after doing it the first few times. And the other thing that I really hated about working with DaVinci is the file management, because I'm used to having the Premiere project just be the project file and then the autosaves and then the previews like in separate folders. So I'm used to having the project file just be its own thing. But whenever I went to look for that project file in my files, I just could never find it. And I would just look through all the folders and then I would see like essentially like nothing. Like it's just a bunch of like log files, and then there wouldn't be like a dedicated DaVinci Resolve project file, which threw me off a lot, and I did not enjoy that process. The process of getting that file, the DaVinci Resolve file or .drp, is go to File and then go to Export Project, and then it'll show you where to save it. I just didn't enjoy that process while working in DaVinci, so keep your files organized and just keep that in mind when using this program for the first time. I think that about does it, so I guess if you have any other questions, you can let me know. I want to get into the habit of sharing how I do things more, so let me know if you found this helpful, and let me know if anything I said confused you in any way, and I'll try to clear that up and do better next time. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, see you later.